Who is the BunnyMan? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the origins of the mysterious BunnyMan. This story starts back in 1904 at a mental asylum. Residents of Clifton protested the housing of the mental patients so close to the new home, eventually closing down the asylum. This would lead to the patients being relocated by bus to a prison for rehousing. During the transfer, one of the drivers for the bus suddenly swerved to avoid something on the road and made the bus tip over, which led the bus to crashing into the woods. Many of the passengers and the driver did not survive the crash. 10 of the inmates managed to run away from the wreckage into the woods. A search party was assembled and they began to go through miles of woodland around the accident. After a couple of weeks, authorities were able to capture all but 2 of the missing inmates. The 2 men were Marcus Walster and Douglas J. Griffin. Weeks passed and local residents began to find rabbit corpses in the woods, and half-eaten, some along the road and some hanging from trees. The police searched the area again, and this time they found the remains of Marcus Walster. The body was allegedly skinned just like the rabbits hanging from the bridge overpass. Eventually, the bridge was known as the BunnyMan Bridge to locals. Authorities were able to track down Griffin, but he would escape and disappear around the train tracks where the wreckage originally was. Less than a year later, a group of teens were hanging out around the bridge during Halloween night. Around midnight, most of the teens left except 3 of them, but they wouldn't make it home. The next morning, the group of teens were found hanging from the bridge, gutted like the rabbits. For years, especially on Halloween, bodies of rabbits and humans would be found. They would be found butchered and hanging from trees and the overpass. The story goes that if you go down the tunnel at midnight, the BunnyMan will hunt you down and string you up. The BunnyMan is also commonly known for using a hatchet on his victims, especially for this next story. So one day, this man, Robert Bennett, was parked with his fiancée near the bridge. They then see this movement coming from behind the car. And as you guessed it, it was the BunnyMan. And what did the BunnyMan do? He smashed the passenger front window with the hatchet. That'll be it for today's video. Make sure you subscribe to stay updated with anything horror.